That way I can then publish it and anybody can go back to it. All right, so I'll show you a few things. We'll talk a little bit about technology, talk about the course. We'll walk through the syllabus, make sure everybody knows what's going on. For the 5 that we have here tonight, the reason that this went online was because that they're rebuilding the 3rd floor of Aquinas, and we had a lot limited, highly limited number of actual teaching spaces. So they ended up I didn't even ask for it. They assigned it as online, which I'm totally fine with. Taught online before, actually through an outside company. I got certified for doing online teaching, so it's good to do it online once in a while. So that's the reason why this one's online. Okay. Now, one of the things I think I'll hold out is that if these what we call the synchronous session like this, where there's actually live, we're talking back and we're streaming or whatever you want to call it. If this is popular, I'll just use it. And so Monday nights, when this class was sort of ostensibly scheduled for 6:30 Monday nights, I can hold sessions then. Sometimes I can handle some, let's say, exceptions that pop up in the class, your questions and things like that, through a synchronous session like this. So I'm very open to running this each week to move it along. So online can mean a lot of things. Then they have the terminology hybrid, which is most of the MBA classes are hybrid. And that means the definition of online is basically that 90 to 100% of it's online. Hybrid is 30 to 80% or 30 to 80%. And then you have like traditional that has online built in, could be from 0 to 30% basically. Okay. But so asynchronous means that the thing runs totally by itself. It's in the can, Sunday you submit all your assignments, and then the next day, let's say you start up your other next week. Every week is like a chunk or module. And that's asynchronous, where we never talk like this. Okay. But synchronous is when we have like a live streaming, just to get some little terminology things down, right? So this is a mathy class. Sometimes, I'm going to try to produce videos for a good deal of this for the homework problems and things to get people through. But we'll find out what the demand, what we think the demand might be for meeting here on 6:30 on Monday nights. I can definitely accommodate that. That's good. All right. So that said, I'm just going to run through something with putting this black background on is really simple. Again, this is one of the deciding factors for using Zoom right now. We'll work out any bugs here. I'm actually going to use it for other classes and whatnot. So how do you put this little black back screen on here? Just want to check something here, little management thing. Okay. I had to find the button for stopping or pausing recording. So we're being recorded now. I want to make sure this is captured. All right. I don't know what what the availability for editing this will be later on. I might chop out long pauses and things like that and shorten them up a little bit. Okay. So anyway, so to use the video portion of this, which is pretty helpful, to provide some anonymity to be anonymous with this, you can use this virtual background that I'm using right now. I'm using a black background, and while others were in here, I've swapped through some other ones. And the way to do that is that you're logged in. So you're logged in. All of us here, we're logged in. And what you need to do is just click stop video. So you can't see this part of my screen. I can't share that. All right. Unfortunately, I can't share like these actual parts of the window. But in your window, when you go down to the bottom, there should be a thing that says stop video. So if you click that, all right, and then there's a little up arrow next to it. If you click that, it gives you some options. At the bottom, it says choose a virtual background. And so when you click that, I think it provides a couple, but I'm going to show you where to get the black and the white background I created for the course here, okay? That part you should be able to see. I'm not sure what I'm clicking on here. You can even see I'm running around inside Zoom, so you probably can't see that. Okay. So I'm going to share my desktop at this point. Okay, you see my full screen. I'm on the E-class right now, right? So here's E-class for our course, MGT50. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. Here we go. Now I'll go over here. That's why it wasn't up there. I clicked the wrong one. And here we go. Okay. So here we go. That looks better. Okay, so we have welcome in the syllabus. If you're following me here, actually, I should just ask, is everybody there? Can I hear from anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I've been doing a lot of talking here. Okay, so you can see, you should be able to see my screen, the e-class. So if you haven't gone there already, if you do go to e-class, that's one of the reasons we're here sharing screens and whatever. If you go to e-class and you click on the first tab, welcome and syllabus, all right? Problem. Syllabus is not up there. Okay. I had to get 4 other classes ready with this one, so let me just upload it. Do it real time here, okay?
It's there. I think you need to just scroll down because
Did I miss it? Okay, maybe I missed it. All right.
I was able to open it. I saw it.
Okay, that's right. Last night, the conversation I had, it's hung up or something. All right, here we go. Did I just not scroll down far enough?
If you scroll all the way down, you'll see the syllabus revised Tuesday the 21st, and then there's a syllabus original.
I see. Oh, I have an actual tab for syllabus. I see what's going on. That was my bad. All right. There we go. Yeah, I had to make a little change to it. Something I think we found out last night. So if you click the revised. Okay. All right. So everybody, if you would download that, so we can all just go through the same steps here. Come on, one more time. There we go. I'll open that up. In your browser, make sure that your browser is set to open it as a file, right? If anybody needs me, as I'm going along here, if anybody needs me to slow down on something that I'm not really going over like that, pretty much you want to be able to download this file, have it local, right? And I had in Chrome, you need to set a little setting there that instead of just viewing it in a tab in the browser to actually download it, all right? So you have to find that. Okay, so here's the syllabus. Thank you very much, Demers. All right, so no prerequisites, course description, quant methods. Okay, so the quant methods here complement, and in a couple cases overlap with, say, operations or the research techniques. Okay. Fully online, as I mentioned, even though it's all fully online, asynchronous, everything in the can, you should be able to just run right through the course. That I will definitely offer this synchronous sessions here on Monday night. There's me, use this email address for me. Everybody should be using their my.msmc.edu email address. Where I run into problems with that is for people that work at the college. The system was going out and grabbing their administrative email address. So I don't think anybody here works for the college. So that's when this issue comes up. I might end up grabbing the wrong email address, or from time to time, a student will have some Gmail address in there, and by policy, college policy, we need to be using these my.msmc.edu email addresses. Okay. The office number, if you call the office number and leave a number, I'm not really there that much. If you leave a message, it actually gets transcribed and sent to me, and I can also listen to it. So that works. You can call this business number and leave a message. I probably won't recognize your phone number, so I won't pick up. But if you use that number, it rolls to my cell phone. That's good. Office hours, kind of set it up here for Monday nights like this time. If you need to talk to me, shoot me a note, give me a little heading or a little bit of leeway to give me notice, in other words, to be able to be available to talk to you, all right? And which I really recommend, all right? So I think we had some good conversations the last session that I taught there with afterwards, after the session, for anybody that wasn't tired and needed to get home. There's a couple nights where we talked about some topics, so that's good. Preferred method of contact here, use the MSMC email. That's what that says. And use of of E-Class. I think everybody in here, now again, stop me if you have a question. I don't want to roll over anybody here. So if you have a question about any of this, just chime in. But I think we're all familiar with E-Class, how to use that. Okay. So the required course materials, at least for we here on the line tonight, we can walk through and make sure that everybody here is registered into McGraw-Hill with at least the complimentary 2-week free session. All right, so the book is Hillier, Intro to Management Science, 6th edition. It's brand new. Mount certainly has tickets in there. You get the card. You have to, if you buy it through the bookstore, you get the card. It has a code that you punch in, and so I'll show you how to do that. If you haven't, for those that have already done that, you'll have been through this already. Okay. For one above, okay. So this is the link. This is what I would recommend everybody do right now. Is especially if you haven't done this before, is just grab that link here. I'm doing a Control-C. I guess you can control. Should be able to just click it. Okay. So you could click it. I'm not sure where it takes me because as a professor, it knows me here. Okay. So what I would like to do is have people enroll in there. If you would do that. So use that link inside the PDF. Sign up. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'm going to go back in. I had been in there. I had been in Connect, but I'm going to go back in so you can see what that's all about. Okay. Oh, I know what I was going after. I wanted to see how many people were signed up. So what I want to do, what I can look at right now is as you sign up for the 3-week or 2-week free access now, you just later on, you can put your code in there, right? So if I can take a look at the roster, make sure you're in there. These are the names. You'll be able to see these. Oop, I went to the wrong course. Hold on. So Matthew, Nicole, you're in there. Christina's in there. Erica. Damaris, you're not in there? Do you want to go in there now?
No, I need to go get my bag and my credit card so I can.
You don't need to buy it now. You could just register in there now.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to have you go in there so we can, go in and you can move around. Well, you're familiar with the Connect system anyway, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it for, I think. Yeah, we used it for operations.
And for international business.
And international. No, international was
Oh wait, no, that was something else.
Cengage, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something else.
Yeah, that one I try to avoid. That's a really bad system.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so limited, but anyway.
I'll
Yeah,
log in
so,
now.
yeah. So I recommend, that's one of the things that I wanted to have people do here tonight, not to put that off. And so you're in there, you can be comfortable. We can take a look at the assignments, make sure everybody sees the assignments. And then I'll just walk through the syllabus a little bit, see if there's any questions about it. That's pretty much what we want to do tonight. We're using Zoom, and so going back over to Zoom. Not sure why it's not. Oh, it's up there. I forgot. Collapsed it.
Okay, I'm here.
Great. I just saw you pop. Great. That's good. Okay. So if you do now, if everybody goes into the course, I just want to make sure that you're seeing what you should see, because we already detected a little bit of a hitch. So when I'm going to go into the course from the instructor's perspective, and this is how I build the course and add the assignments. This is not the view that you see. So when I click student view, Okay, seems much better order. It wasn't in order before. Not sure what that was all about. So the tab, what happens is you have to be careful over here on the left hand under this menu. Okay. All right. So under classes, you can see all these assignments. All right. And there's two types of assignments under Connect. And hopefully you can see my cursor's way over on the right of my screen. And there's this thing, it says SB, Align, and LS. That's SmartBook, Learn Smart. Okay. And that is sort of a curated or guided experience with reading a chapter. It's going to ask you some questions. For those that were in my operations class, I don't believe they're as complex as the ones for operations from last session. When I was looking at what the time estimates were, they're much less than the ones for operations. Ones are actually time consuming. But these, I believe, you should be able to get through there fairly fast. Okay, I'm thinking on the order of an hour, a half an hour to an hour, maybe a little bit longer, hour 20, something like that on the reading. But I'm basically listening to hear from you. If that ends up being a really big workload, then I'd be interested to know about that. When I looked at them, they're fairly straightforward, but okay. So this gives us the entire sessions, the homeworks that I set up in here. These are all homeworks, okay? And so the first one is due Sunday, which is January 26th. And let's see here. Actually, these are a little bit out of order. It's all right. The next one down here, let me fix that while we're looking at it. There we go. Let me go back to student view now. Okay, there we go. Now, there's a simple, I mean, it's a matter of just minutes to go through Connect orientation. It's just to show, if you haven't used Connect before, it shows you how to answer the questions. It gives you an array of different types of formats of questions. That's all that is. It's not subject matter out of the book or anything. Then we start, that's for Sunday. I think if it's 15 minutes, that's a lot. 20 minutes, maybe. I don't think so. Then we have chapter 1 due on Sunday, and then we have this is the Learn Smart. If you look at the names of the assignments, if it's the word chapter spelled out and then the number in a period, that's a Learn Smart. Okay, so obviously what you do is you do the Learn Smart first. You read and get challenged. Just some challenge questions on your reading. Make sure you're comprehending what's going on there, and then you do the questions. Okay, so chapter 1 had to do with basically these are about break even. I think there's about 8 true and false / maybe multiple choice and 4 or 5 computations. Okay, so chapter 2 following Sunday. You have both Learn Smart, and the way that I can find that, I can tell by the title for one thing, because it has chapter number and then period, and then on the right it actually shows the icon, the Smart Book, Learn Smart. Okay, so for each chapter you basically do the Learn Smart, do the reading kind of part of it, and then you do the question sets there. Now, what I need you to do, all right, should be in the syllabus, is use Excel to do the solutions. Okay, so there's a solution. When you do some of these problems, you're using Excel, if not all of them. And I made a video. Okay, so I've made a video about how you should create a Microsoft Excel file for the entire course, and for every homework, just started creating a new sheet for all the new homeworks. Okay, so I created a video about that. Let's see that if I put that up there. Let me just go back here. I'll go to module 1. Okay. The way that I have the tabs set up in eClass is the purple colors are all kind of like the preface material for the course. I put the McGraw-Hill support number here. They're very, very good. During the week, they're 24/7, and then they have some hours, the bulk of the days on Saturday and Sunday available if you run into troubles. And if I click there, I actually have the times here. So if you click on McGraw-Hill support, it tells you here Monday through Thursday, 24 hours. Then Friday it goes to 9. Okay, and then Saturday 10 in the morning to 8 at night. And then the one you probably want to be careful about is this one for Sunday. If you end up doing a lot of your work on Sundays when these things are due, that it's from 12 noon to 12 midnight. But that's pretty good coverage. I've always thought their support was very, very good. Okay. And so the purplish tabs will be the preliminary information. And then as we move along here, there's a tab for each week. So module 1 or week 1. Okay. So in the world of online teaching, quite often we talk about things as modules, not weeks. So module 1 starts basically yesterday. It's green. It's been activated. It's live. It helps us understand where we are in our session. And then when next week it starts, the next one, module 2 here, I'll turn that to green, and they start all going on green as we conquer each one of these modules. They'll turn to green, okay? And then the orange points out like a significant event other than like homeworks and things like that. So we have a quiz 1 coming up. If I click that, did I put a note in there? No, I didn't put a note in there. I just have a submit point. The quiz isn't posted yet, but so we'll have a quiz 1, we'll have a midterm, we'll have a quiz 2, a final exam, and a final report. Okay, those are some of the big chunks of what's going to happen in this course. All right. So what I'm going to do is go back to the syllabus, which should have all this in here. So at least the people, here we are on this line tonight or on Zoom tonight, well, at least all of us are registered into the McGraw-Hill practice for this. I'm sorry, McGraw-Hill Connect for this course. Okay. So here are a few other things for people. These rules, if you've had me before, these are like exact same rules from all the other courses I teach here. But you need to be using the latest version of Microsoft Office. You can get a free subscription if you don't have one already, or if you need an update, go to the IT support. And what you do is you can call them, and they'll take your email address and then return a code. They'll tell you a code. They'll give you a code for you to get a full download of this. Okay. So that's a nice perk. It's about $100 value right there per year. As a subscription, it's about $100 or $125 for me. I have my own subscription because I use a couple other things. I use whatever their cloud-based disk space is, a gigabyte or terabyte rather, terabyte in the cloud. And so I pay for my own. So all file submissions need to be in Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Whether we use all of them, we definitely will use Word. We'll definitely use Excel. I'm not too sure whether we'll do something in PowerPoint. What that means is no PDFs. Just to be clear, I'm saying everything should be in Word, Excel, PowerPoint. The reason is I can go in there and I can correct them very easily. And I can return it with notes right there, Overkill. You read my notes from last semester.
Yes.
Right. You have to be careful with humor because you never know how people are going to interpret it, but I'm glad you took it the right way. So Damaris gave a really great report there. That's why she earned the nickname Overkill. All right. So
I put a little too much into it, and you were like, overkill. Like,
yeah. Well, you do a fantastic job. You throw everything into it and you make it a real life project. That's what's really good about the way you did it. It's good.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, you added a lot of style to it that I don't normally require, but it does say something if you take the time out to do a pro grade report that it's going to be in something people appreciate receiving, has some nice style to it, little flourish and what do you call it? Just little things, nice touches to it.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So as I say here, kind of a little bit snarkily, it goes without saying, but you need a computing device like we're all on tonight, so that you can run, the Microsoft Office products and the Connect, right? Okay, so we're all there with that. I think we're okay. Everybody's expected to have an intermediate, basic to intermediate Excel. All right, so certainly for anybody that's taking the operations everything you used in there can get used again here, and then some. Some part of this, I believe, we're going to get into things that are overlap from that course about statistics. Okay, so we'll use Microsoft Excel. There are instructions and an assignment on eClass for the first week. And so what you need to do, while I'm sharing my screen with you, I'm going to show you where you go find this thing. Okay, so there is space on the portal for some self-directed courses, kind of like Udemy. I'm not sure how many of you know about Udemy or Udemy. That I've taken a number of courses there, all different kinds of things for about $12, real fast courses to get up and going on certain things. Well, through our portal, you can actually get a course, an online course. It's a video course, which I created an instruction sheet and a guide sheet for, so you do the minimum amount of work to get the most out of it. So if I come back over to here, can I move this out of the way? Yeah, good. I have to move. I have a set of buttons from Zoom sitting right where I need to click. Right. Okay, so if you go to the portal here and you go to resources, right up here near the top, you'll see something called Who Knew It videos. Okay. And I provide, we'll go over there, I'll show you. I provide one of the courses. I'll show you how to get to one of the courses in here for Excel. And let's see if I can just search on it though. It's just called Basic Excel. Let's see if it comes up. Basic Excel. I believe it's, yeah, I do believe it's this one right here at the top. All right. Okay. So when you click into that, it should give you a list of videos, or it starts you there. Okay. So you can see what, if you can look at your screen, it knows me, and it shows my completion is like 34 out of 50. And that's a note that I'll tell you is that I'm not expecting you to go through all of this. I actually, in the document, I tell you, if you use it as a guide sheet, it tells you which modules you can kind of skip. And I explain in the modules that I think are good, that you need, what it is that you're after there. Okay. So let's see, how do you kick that off? Okay, the videos are over here on the right. Okay, so you can just click one of these. It starts right at the beginning, 45-second video. And the idea there is that create the file that they're asking you to work on and submit it on eClass. That's how you're going to get the credit for this. This isn't a big challenge. This isn't a big career changer here. This part of the course, and I'll take a look. I think it's about 50 or 75 points toward 10 or toward 1,000. Okay. I have to double check exactly what I put it down there for. This is just to make sure, if you were in the operations class last session, you should blast right through this. It's just how to add things, how to sum up columns and rows and things like that. It's nothing advanced like pivot tables. I don't think I have pivot tables in there. So I'm running down the edge here, down the right. And on the right, it gets to like section F. So they had section A, B, C. All these green blocks here are ones that I worked through for you all to see which ones were, valuable to what we need for in the class. And so you get down to about F, and look at all the ones that I don't have selected. So there's a whole number of these that, on your own time, go ahead, feel free to go do these ones that I didn't select. But as I mentioned, I have a guide sheet for which of these videos and what to do with each one of them. Okay. So that's the Who Knew It part. Let me go back over to the syllabus. Okay, that's how we got over there. Everyone is expected to have Excel skills. We'll do the Who Knew It, run through that. Again, if you've had me before, we've run Grammarly before. So don't pay for an account, but get an account there. I have a paid account, and there's virtually no difference. It has not brought me any benefits, and it wasn't cheap. I think it was about $100 a year, plus or minus. And I said I'll give it a whirl. The first year, I'll see how it works. And it actually is overkill. It actually finds too many things. I have to, anyway. So get Grammarly. What is that for? So when you write reports, you run it through Grammarly. Actually, I can show you if I click on it. If I run Grammarly. So I have it loaded on my computer here. It'll run. It gives us a screen. These are all the documents that I've worked on before. And what you can do is you can import a document. You're really interested just in this upper left-hand corner here. So you're going to import a document. And I could use like a syllabus or something just to show you. I'll upload a syllabus. It'll be full of problems because it's not full English, right? So I've just uploaded the document. And okay, hey, there's been an update. It's one of these cloud things. I'm just going to close that for now. And if you look on the right, it was running. It does some things. It tells you up here at the top, 129 alerts. So this was a syllabus. It's a lot of incomplete sentences and things. It's going to find all kinds of things in there. It's for one of my courses. It starts tomorrow, right? And I'll just show you where there's some narrative here. So when you come down, look at all these. Over here on the right are all the things that it's going to ask you about. It gives you a chance. Find something wrong or it's questionable about your document. And so let's see if I can get this one. So I just double clicked where the underline was. And it says, this semester is designed to help you reflect. It doesn't like that. It's a passive voice. And I just, for the purposes of what I do, I'm not, generally I'm in control of how to use the passive voice and I want it in there. But what you can do is trash it. So I'm just going to trash that one. And then when you trash that one, it goes to the next one. The course should broaden your own understanding. You know, I understand that they want me to get rid of the word own there. Instead of your own understanding, it says your understanding. So I'll double click on it and it will get rid of own. So you could fix it. If you want the suggestion, that was a red one, so it really wanted me to take that one. The green ones are kind of like your discretionary. But I usually delete a fair share of the ones that they suggest, okay? Because they misinterpret what I was saying or whatever, okay? Or got a little bit too complicated for them and whatever else, okay? So this seminar is designed to help you. Oh, where are we here? In addition, okay, they were giving me some suggestions. Instead of using the word in addition, how about using also or besides? So what if I double click also? So I double click also, it replaces that with also, just to give you an idea of how that works. Okay, so I'm going to bail out on this because I don't need it. I'm not going to use the output of that. All right, so you should have Grammarly. I just showed you the main part of how it works. And of course, you'll need a high-speed internet access to use the eClass site, to use McGraw-Hill Connect. And I do mention something in here that I added an appendix into the syllabus, and I'll just show you what you can do with this. Okay, so this is something you may want to check. It's good for other things too, but if you do internet speed test, all right, I can run the internet speed test here, and right now my download is about 15 megabits per second. Okay, and in a second it's going to flip over and see how fast I can upload to, and it says I can upload around 14. Those are pretty healthy numbers. They're fine. They get you by. If you get underneath 10, especially when you get down toward 5 or less or fewer, that's when it's going to really start noticing it's going to slow down. But I think between 8 and 10 is your low floor on this. But you can all try that out and see. During the day, it's going to change where you are from work to home. It's going to change. I ran this today in one of my classes, and it was 64 megabit per second download and 128 megabit per second upload because the school has a massive pipe and it's very fast, right? But at home, these are really good numbers. I'm really happy with this. It's totally adequate, put it that way. You know, I would take the fast upload and download, but I don't use it for anything. Okay. Someone give me an amen. Is everybody out there still? Can you still hear me?
Amen.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. The sound, by the way, is very, very good where I am of you speaking. It's very clear. It's actually very ultra clear. Just thought I'd mention that should work for us. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the syllabus here. What to expect in class. As I mentioned, I'll reserve Monday 6:30 through 9:30. I'll just sit here working on other things if nobody's here. And okay, I just talked a little bit about Zoom there. What to expect out of class. There's more written about what to expect out of class because this is online. All right. Okay. So one of the things about courses, I'm not sure everybody understands this or not, but in the hybrid form that we typically use, where we meet one day a week, we need to have. You have to look at the entire session has to have about 48 hours of contact time. All right. So that means when you meet 3 hours a week for 8 weeks, That's only 24. And there has to be 24 more hours of instruction. Okay, not 24 more hours of just doing your homework from that first session. There's a virtual second session of a volume of information that the professor and students are expected to understand is there. So it's really compressed, right? The idea is not just a short session, it's short but compressed. So you're getting as much as a normal 14, 15, 16-week session. All right. So I just thought I'd mention that. And in the world of online, that turns out to be what it is. Everything is asynchronous in an fully online course, and then you set your own time to do it. And usually, I'm sure a class like this, it will take a full day, the equivalent of like pretty full day, one full day a week to get everything done in, at least. Okay. But I think if you're efficient, you should be able to get it all done in a single day. Okay, that's where I just went over some of this part of what to expect. Okay, so two housekeeping issues for this course. All right, those have had me before, okay, this is a roster, and I assign everybody a 2-digit ID code. The only place you ever need it is when you submit a file, any kind of file, and what you need to do is the file name always starts with the 2-digit number, and then your name, and then the description of the file, like a descriptive file name afterwards. And what I'm going to try to do is, for every file that I issue that you'll work on, is name it ID space name space and then the file name, so it reminds everybody to do that. It's not my intent to have like a gotcha thing going on here. I take no pleasure in it. In fact, the reason it's in here is that it actually speeds up the grading, okay? And I've always had this, and so there are a few people in each class that I teach that never put the effort in to do it. So what I've had to do, everybody else is fine, okay? And so basically this time I'm actually going to penalize 5% of the total points of the assignment if the file comes in, especially without the 2 digits at the beginning. And the reason for that is when I go into eClass and I download everybody's file into a folder, if you have these numbers at the beginning of your file name, they come in right in order, okay? And then everybody could have like basically a different format for your name. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it's there, I can get it. But these will all come in order, and I grade them in order, and I edit. The reason why we're using only Microsoft Word and Excel and PowerPoint is I have ways of putting my comments in there for the grading. Once in a while, it happened last session for the MGT5110. I think one or two, at least, people submitted a PDF for the final report, and they get a number. That's it. I have nothing else to give you, because I usually go in Microsoft Word and I put the rubric in right there, and I show you against the rubric how you did. Generally, people do very well, and we'll cross that part about writing and how to submit all that. But the idea here is I really needed to put something in there as a motivator, because there were just people taking advantage of I don't know what, and they just never put the effort in to get it right. And that wouldn't fly, so to speak, out in industry, so I can't have that here. Okay, let's see what we got here. The second part of this is a little bit less critical, but it's still critical. And that is, when you originate an email to me, always start the subject line with the MGT5080 SP20 for spring 20. All right. That really helps me sort out 5 different classes. I can tell where it's coming in from, and especially what session, as in, it's not spring of 19 and it won't be spring of 21 or whatever. It was spring of 20. That can help me quite a bit. Okay. So far, so good. Hopefully that's not too hard. I think I posted this on eClass. I usually do, so I think I did, but it's in the syllabus. So these are your actual numbers that you'll start your file name with. Okay. All right. So here's a table of week by week, what topics we're going to cover, a bit about what the chapter is that we're working on here. There will be, I think I have 3 discussion boards or forums designed into the class that I still have to flesh out. If you look, there's just placeholders for them right now. And, in the online class world, let me ask, for other MBA courses, have you had to do one of these forums or discussion boards before?
Yes.
What course was it for?
I think it was one of the international marketing or businesses. I don't remember which class,
Yeah.
but I definitely had to do it before.
Okay. It's interesting to know if people have experience with that or not. So basically, you're going to write probably something on the order of like a 500 word, which is about 2 pages on a topic. A lot of times when we have a mathy class in business, it has to do with strategy. Okay. So there's the ability to run out a calculation, right? There's an ability to calculate something, but then to put it in terms of business strategy is everything. Okay. And that's why I in my courses stress pretty heavily the writing component of this to be able to convey in a pro at a pro grade level. And as I say in my other courses, that take it as a challenge to write better than you ever have before. uh, just don't go too far. Make it worth the value of the course. Once you have something, once you really understand something, don't necessarily need to gild the lily, but it's also setting your own standard that says I'm always going to do good work. Okay, so I wouldn't stop anybody from doing an excellent job. Where you might add some style in, like Damaris did and such. She really went the extra distance on it. Okay, so we have the 8 modules listed here. The chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we skip 6, 7, and 8 and go right to decision analysis. Go to 10, forecasting, and then skip a chapter and go to computer simulation. The homeworks in Connect for each of those chapters, I believe they're tolerable. They're not impossible. When I looked at them, I actually thought that there was certain cases where I might have to do some more challenge on what they've offered as far as the problems for homeworks on that. And what do we have? We have built in here 2 quizzes and what I call a midterm. Okay, so there'll be quiz 1, the midterm, and then a quiz 2, and I have final exam planned and a final project. Final project will be writing on a case study type of thing. Okay, so we'll use a case study for that. The discussion boards also, I think we'll draw from the cases in the book that are available. We'll do that. Okay, so you can keep reviewing this afterwards, obviously on your own, just to get you familiar with this, how to use it as a working document, right? And so here I just made a little change this evening for those that were on here. I just changed the order. I just pushed this into the correct position. I lifted mod 1, this Connect orientation thing, or those simple 5 or 6 questions. I just put that at the top. Somehow it came down one on me. All right. So you will see all these dates inside Connect. I just published them here. So some kind of referral. Probably nobody will ever look at that again. But anyway, it's in there. The way I build the grading in here is on a basis of 1,010 points. And so you're pretty much familiar with the grading criteria from all the courses. Should be using the same one. And essentially, I'm adding a 0 on everything here. But what I'm going to try to do is make sure that the grading is occurring so that everybody has a running score against 1,010. And you're shooting for that 940. You want to break 940 for the A, right? So I don't know if anybody here has had any other courses where they use such a point methodology, but I like it, and I think a lot of students do like thinking of it more as an accumulative or cumulative process rather than sort of a like almost punitive one, like I'm getting graded down from perfect. But in the end, it's all the same. It all comes out the same. It's not like the grading change; it's just a perspective of it. Has anybody here ever had a course run it like that, like 1,010 points or 1,000 points?
No.
Okay, well, that's one person. I'll assume nobody else did too. We'll see how it goes. All right. It's sort of like a new trend. Okay. The grading rubrics will be released for each of the assignments. You'll have those. Distribution of grades in at least 7 days, usually 5. I'll work at really shooting these off as fast as possible. Okay. Let's see. Late work. For an online course, I have to keep the dialogue down. I'm doing this in all my courses right now. If anybody's late, then during the next following week, it's 10% off. During the second week, it's 20% off, and after that, then it's just not accepted. and I am not a stickler. If you deliver something that's due at midnight at midnight 30, I'm okay with that. It's more of a level of if I see things coming in at the next day and you've taken an advantage. Or I also know that I'm not judgmental either, because things enter in all of our schedules that could interfere and disrupt your normal delivery and everything. But if it goes to the next day, then it's going to be in that 10% off bracket. And then if it goes longer than 13 days, then it goes into the not accepted bracket. Okay, so 20% off that second week. Okay, attendance policy. Okay, so there's basically not really an attendance policy, because it's asynchronous, get the work done on time kind of thing. Okay, and then there's some college policies. I'm pretty adamant about academic honesty. I don't think there'll be any problems. Just the way that these courses are run online, I don't think there's going to be so much a problem. I think it's good when students work together. You just respect when, especially on the quizzes and such, that you need to do your own work at those times. The rest of it, if it's communal at certain times, learning experience, and you do better that way, however you learn it, in my book, that way is fine. Okay. So we had honesty, disabilities, tutoring, counseling. Okay. And then I have an appendix A, which I ran the Google internet speed test. Yep. And then and that's it. So that's the syllabus. Any questions on that?
I have a question about the quizzes.
Yes.
Are those going to be through Connect, or is that something that you'll give us separately and then uploaded?
Probably it'll be through eClass.
Okay.
I might be using some of the questions that come out of the system there. It's actually some of the mechanics about what I'll have to decide which way is the best ways for that. I'll decide that pretty quickly, because they come quick and pretty quick. I think week 3 we have a quiz 1, right? So how that works, I will have to take a look at the Connect. One of the things that eClass doesn't give me is I don't know if I could put a time limit on it. Like, you need to get this done in an hour and a half. I don't know if eClass allows me to do that. Like, it
I've had
starts.
other classes that they've done that.
Yeah.
The professors set up like a certain time that you have to get it done by.
Yeah, in eClass you can set a time limit.
Mhm.
But it's not asynchronous, is that everybody can do it at a different time. You're saying like everybody had to start at the same time and finish by the same time?
No, no.
Oh.
When
Really?
the
Okay.
moment that you start, the
Yeah.
clock starts ticking for you.
That's probably what I'll do then. Yeah, it's probably under eClass. It just gives me a little bit more flexibility. I might have an essay question in there, and I'll refer to an article on the internet or something like that, or journal article, an academic journal article, something like that. Just to provide a few different bases. I think you can get trapped inside these systems when they hand you how to do things sometimes. So anyway, I'll look at how it is. Is there a preference? Do you have a preference for which way to do it?
No, I'm just a planner for everything.
Yeah.
So I just need to know.
Yeah. So right now it's probably 50-50. I have to get into it, and when I start forming it up, I might go, you know what, it's just going to run a lot better on Connect. It might be, I have to get into them to see, Yeah.
I don't have a preference. I just it's a mental thing, and I just want to
Yeah.
be prepared and making sure that I know how to navigate Connect
Right.
I don't know. It's just a mental thing. Sorry.
No, I got it. No, it's a totally legitimate question. I'm going to go back to eClass here. Let's see. All right. So one of the things that I might have to be a little bit more clear about is I made a video. Yes, I made a video, and I'm not seeing it here. Where is it? I made a video. I might not have posted it, and it explains how to access the Excel files. And I will follow up on that. Okay, so I have a video that explains what I had just a little bit thinking out loud about this is that in the assignments for this, when it takes Excel, is I need to put submission points. So see, it says submit Excel file for Connect Chapter 2 homework questions. This is a situation, first of all, where you have to name your file correctly, so they come in. And when I download them, they're all in order, right? So that's an example. You're going to be running that. And I'll just post, there's a video, an explanatory video that shows how to just keep adding sheets to Excel. Let me just run Excel here really quickly for you, okay? Since this is all being recorded, this helps me. Okay, I'm gonna get myself a new Excel sheet, all right? So I have a new Excel sheet. There's a couple of bugs I just want to show. This is a little bit like extra information tonight for those that put the effort into to show up tonight or were able to. I don't want to say people stayed away, maybe that they had work conflict or family conflict, whatever it is. But there's a very strange built-in property of Excel that I want to show you. I'm going to open up two windows at once, okay? So if you're using Windows, I'm going to grab one sheet. I don't know if you know this how Windows operates, but if you grab, I have two new Excel sheets open. And if I grab one and I smash, see where my cursor is? It's like right in the middle of the header part of the window. If you smash it against the left-hand side, it automatically formats it to half the sheet, half the screen, and then you can select that other blank one and put them side by side. I don't know if you know that trick or not, but anyway, I've been using that a long time. That's pretty neat. Couple little things here. I will publish Excel keyboard shortcuts. If each of you all went out and looked for keyboard shortcuts, you'd all find different ones, you know. So there's a lot of information on Excel out there. But I want to show you something here. If I type in, let me just put step A. Step A. Okay, so I wrote something in step A, and I come over to the second sheet. I'm in a completely different, not a different sheet, but a different file. Okay. Now this happens to me a lot because I'm running all these courses using Excel, and I might be, you know, have multiple sheets up, multiple files up for all different reasons, right? So I put in step B. This is a different course, or this is a different file that you have here. So step B. I type step B over here, and then I come back to the first one on the left, and I type in step C. Okay, so notice I did three things here, all right? Now suppose what happens is if I maximize this window on the left, and I'm not paying attention to the other file that I was just working on, and I go, you know what? I'm going to start over on this file. If I do Control Z, it's going to take away that's undo, right? Control Z is a keyboard shortcut to undo the last thing. I hit Control Z, it got rid of the step C. If I hit Control Z again, you would think it would get rid of the step A, but watch out. This is what it does. It deletes it in the other file. This is a weird built-in bug that I have to really myself be careful of. So I thought I'd share that with you. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that before, but that will get you, okay? And you're gonna not realize what's going on, and you're editing. It's weird. You're doing Control Z, and it's hitting the other file that you weren't even looking at. All right. And then I'll just leave that one with you. There's a thing about hiding and revealing windows. I won't bother you too much with that. It has to do with one very, very helpful. This I only need one file for. Let me delete that. Okay. Let me maximize this guy. Oops. Okay. So I'm only worried about one file in this example. You know, when you get a bunch of headers here, like month one, okay, and then you do, I don't even know, thing one. Okay, so I have something like this, and the file gets really long, right? So you've all seen this if you've been in my classes. And what happens is you have a lot of headers that are going all the way off the sheet over here. You can use under view, you can use freeze panes, okay? And what this needs to know is give me the cell where you want to create a crosshair, all right? That I'm not going to hand. I'm not going to scroll. I'm going to lock it'll. You're telling Excel where to lock it for scrolling purposes. Okay, so I select a cell here, and I'm referencing the upper left-hand corner of it. And so under view, if I go freeze panes and I click freeze panes right there, I put a crosshair in. Okay, there's a crosshair, and then you're scrolling. Okay, so when you scroll, it holds the columns and the headers. Okay, so that's all I did. Okay, one of the issues that hit me, I'm going to share with you. This is a bug that I actually found in Excel. What happens is, let's say for some reason I hide these columns. If I hide these columns, they go away, right? I can't get them back again, right? By any means that anything's ever going to tell you, if you look down here, it's not letting me unhide those original columns, and this drives people crazy. This is what happens at 2:00 in the morning when you're trying to do a perfect job for a homework or a work thing, right? So I can't unhide. What was it going to do to them? All right, it made me a liar, but there are situations where you're not able to reveal that, and simply all you have to do, you might run across this at the worst possible time. And so what you have to do is go back to freeze panes, and you have to unfreeze the panes to begin with, and then it will reveal them. Okay, and right there, it didn't give me the problem, and I'm not sure what. I know it still does it because I tried this, but anyway, I thought I'd share you that that's a bug with it. That's a couple bugs that I know about Excel. Other than that, it's pretty hardened and should work fine. All right. That being said, how about any questions? Anybody have anything? I'll go back to my video here. Okay. All right. So how is everybody? What can I help anybody with?
I mean, personally, only because I'm trying to like comprehend the whole thing, I might have questions after the first week.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put out an email for everybody to join up on one of these sessions next week. That's optional.
Yeah.
And then you also had what we did tonight is going to be recorded. So as long as that works, I'll have to make sure when as I leave here at the end of whenever we're talking about this, that that it actually does record it. I have access to it. A couple times I've run on GoToMeeting, it hasn't given me the recording. Big blue button, that was one of the reasons. That's what it was. Yeah. It wouldn't show you that it had actually recorded it or not. That was one of the aggravating things. Other than that, that's pretty much it for sort of getting us going. We've got the Zoom thing going, walk through the syllabus. We walked through Connect. You can see the assignments there. You should be clear to go.
So for Sunday, we have the chapter 1, the reading, which is the Learn Smart section, plus the questions, the homework questions, right?
Yes.
And the intro.
And yes, right. And
The intro is due tomorrow night.
And the Excel.
In the Excel. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let me go back. For myself, let me go back and just look at Connect here. Actually, it's for Sunday, right? So the Connect orientation is due Sunday. The Chapter 1 Learn Smart, and I'm looking over here to the right to see that little icon that says SBLS over there on the right. That just by visually checking it, that says, oh, okay, that's just the reading with the challenge questions. And then the third thing is the homework questions here. And the fourth thing is the Who Knew It. I think I made that for Sunday night. Let's go check it out. I have to go to the syllabus here. Did I put it in here?
No.
I did not put it in there. Let's see. Let me see what I wrote about it up here.
If you go on eClass to this particular week, you'll see
Is that what
everything.
it is?
Yeah, everything that's due
Yeah.
from Connect, from the forum, to every single thing that's due this week.
That's right. you can see the effects of me trying to build 4 other classes with this at one time, but I'm usually pretty, careful, and I wrote up the list here. Yeah, it's a whole list just to make sure we get off on the right foot. Oh, I do have a forum up there. I was just for everybody to get used to using the forums. Where's the forum?
It's right. It's that first. It's a
Right
little
there.
bit where it says 8 on red
Yeah.
post.
Yeah, right there. Okay. Yeah, that's just to get everybody into the forums and make sure you can type something in there and you can say hi to each other. But the main thing is I am interested in the responses that you have for here. Things about your job or whatever else that is relevant. I'm fine with. Yeah. So we have the E-Class Forum 1. The orientation quiz, really quick. It actually, I went over everything that's really important to it. The 2 penalties, Nicole asked me this, somebody asked me this yesterday. Was it you, Nicole? And it had to do with
Yeah.
what are the two penalties for like file naming?
File naming.
Was that it?
If it's wrong, yeah.
Yeah, and one of them was there is a 5% point reduction, and the other one is you won't get your graded work back as fast. I literally will put it off to the side because I'll take care of my other courses and everything else before I go back and then start hunting around for people to figure, within a certain E-Class submission point to figure out who it was that submitted without it. That's what it comes down to. The last grading period for me last session at the end of December was a kind of a hilarious nightmare. I mean, there was so many exceptions. It went through the roof that I had to finally put that in place. All right. So the orientation quiz asked some questions about that. Who knew it? The basic skills are due. And then we were hitting these 3 connect things that we already talked about. That little orientation thing. The Learn Smart is not too bad. And for a chapter 1, you know how chapter 1s normally are. It's very topical. I don't think there's any calculations in there, as I remember. So it looks like a lot of things there, but if you knock them off fast, some of them don't take too long. I would say the 2 longest ones out of there, I didn't put time estimates on here, but I'd say the homework is 1.5 hours, 2 hours. And I'm saying that conservatively. I mean, if you really gun it, you might be able to get it faster. But remember, there's a little extra stuff involved where you have to produce an Excel file and submit that. In other words, I want to see the work and that you're picking up on how to use Excel. Right? Any comments about that list? Any thoughts? Everything else is down here. These are the who knew it instructions. Well, I have you here just to put everybody at ease. We haven't taken a look at that. Let's just take a look at what I'm talking about. All right, so this is the file that you'll open up, and you'll open up Excel as well, and this is going to guide you through running through this who knew it. Okay, I actually have the URL there for it. Okay, it's actually in this file. And that, if you noticed before, I just did a search on basic Excel, and it was this Dan Finella PhD came up on the top when I did that search. So this is the one we're talking about. Okay, that's the actual who knew it that you need. Okay, and then I put in here required. Save your file with a valid name and upload to the appropriate section of eClass. It is important to copy all operations the presenter does, not just watch the video. Okay, so I'm not going to over scrutinize how everybody delivers this. You're gauging it for yourself. Make sure that you're familiar. I don't think anything in there is too challenging. Okay. All right. I talk about video speed controller. I think that's actually worth talking about here. I've shown anybody in my class before will have known about that, but I'm sharing my screen here. Way up here on the right, I have these plugins for my Chrome browser. And this thing right here looks like one of these like YouTube play buttons up here. And there's an actual plugin called Video Speed Controller. All right. And when you plug that in, let's see if I can give a demo of this. All right, so if I go to YouTube and I just pick anything, let's see, pick something. Here's a guy playing a saxophone. Bee Gees. Okay, so listen to the Bee Gees. Hey, and I'm getting an advertisement for Grammarly, as it is. If you can see in my video window, I have this little box up here. It says 1.0 means it's running at 1x. And if I roll over it with my mouse, I can speed the video up. I click the plus button, click it a few times, and it goes up by tenths, by 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Now, you can accomplish pretty much the same thing if you go down to the gearbox for YouTube. If you go down to the gear settings, if you click settings, all right, it might be because we're in a commercial. Let me get through the commercial here. Okay. Okay. Now if I click the gearbox, I can playback speed, I can change it, all right? But it doesn't have the granularity or the fine tuning that the other one has. There's another reason that I like this. I'm going to show you why I like this thing. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume off on him so I can keep talking. His volume's down on our BG song here. All right. So I play this, and I can also hold my hands on, my left hand is on the keyboard with my index finger on F, which is your normal location, like where you keep your hand. And all I have to do is click the S with my finger, my other finger. If I click S, it takes it down, it slows it down. I'm back down to 1x speed now. And if I hit D, it speeds it up. And I'm not sure if anybody here has used this before, but what I find is I can listen to most instructional videos at 2x. So when you see the time, the timestamp down here is like 3:57. It's going to be 4 minutes. I can listen to that in 2 minutes, totally legibly, comprehensive, you can comprehend it and everything. You don't take any hits. I just thought I'd share that with you because that's how I get through a lot of instructional videos if I need to get through things. All right. So that's a little extra about that. I put that in this file because while you're watching these instructional videos, with your fingers on the keypad, you can speed it up and slow it down as you need to. So you can really speed things up. Okay. So here I have summary of required modules. Estimated 2 to 3 hours. It's very conservative. If you've taken my course before, just make sure you go through all the steps. Doesn't have to be super pretty, and you can handle this. It's things that you've done before. Okay, look at the, what you will learn is the entire first module. Excel spreadsheet structure. It starts off slowly, entering data into a cell. Next to this, I'll put in this. My comment for this one is no comments. Just do whatever they tell you to do there. Creating a data set, follow directions, and create the spreadsheet as described. So for every one of these modules, I went through there and put a little bit of a instruction or summary on there. Autofill data, creating calculations. You've probably done all these things before. It's just to make sure everybody's up to speed. Creating a correlation. Okay, so that gets into a level that could be very interesting. Just replicate the presenter's steps. And so the titles of these things are worse than what's actually in there. So merging cells, merging cells is kind of nice for some style points. Create conditional formatting. That's interesting. Images and objects, fine. Name and add sheets. All right. So you should be, if you can do all these things already, just go through there, get it done. And it's sort of an honor system. Like I'm not going to check everybody's complete results, but I will kind of get a gist for how much work you did on them. Show me that you got something out of this, or you participated well. All right. So that's due for Sunday night. As I said, 2 to 3 hours. I'd say 2 hours at the outset. Do it the MBA way. Drag out the value of it, and get the value out of it. Make sure you can do those things, and then you also have a reference you can go back to. I'll share with you, going back to YouTube here. If I do an Excel, what was I going to show you? I forgot now. I was just about to show you something here in Excel. The saxophone player distracted me. I'll think of it again here. What was it? Can't remember. Anyway, that might be a signal that we've gone long enough, right? So how about anybody? Does anybody have any questions?
Not me.
No,
Okay.
good too.
Okay. Hopefully it was valuable. What time do we have here? Just check it. So we went about an hour and a half. Yeah, about a little bit over an hour. That's good. So it'll be recorded, and I'll try to load it up under module 1 under E-class. I'll load it up there and just assume it will be there. I guess I have to send out an email anyway announcing next week's meeting. So I'll announce there that this one is available in module 1. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. All
Have
right.
a good night.
Good
And
night.
contact me with any other
Bye.
questions during this week, okay, as we get off.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.